No, I will literally never forget. It was 4 years ago. I was 22 years old. At that time, I had just spent 4+ months creating this business plan. I was like, I'm creating a YouTube channel. At that time, it was called World Changers. And I had this dream, I had this vision. I'm like, man, I'm gonna inspire people. I'm gonna help people. I'm going to add value to people's lives. So I had this dream. And I didn't really know what the dream consisted of when I had initially asked for it. But I called my mom. I'm like, Ma, it's funny looking back. I'm like, Ma, I want to start this channel, but I have no money, okay? Like, I had none. Like, I was broke college kid. I had no money. I'm like, Ma, can you please loan me like $2,200, something like that? I was like, I did all the research. I know the equipment that I need. Can you please loan me the money? And she's like, yeah, I can do that. I mean, did she think I was crazy? 1,000%, like out of my mind. But she supported me. She's like, I'll loan you the money. And then I was like, we put together a payment plan. I was going to pay her back $100, $200 a month, whatever. And so I ended up getting this equipment. Long story short, I, at that time, was building bottle schools in Guatemala, okay? And so some of you know that I was building schools. And that day, I had been traveling over the past few months at that time, making presentations, raising money, going to Rotary clubs and stuff like that. And so that day I was going to another presentation. And I went out to my car, packed everything up, brought all my YouTube equipment. You know, I was excited. I was like energetic, and I'm like, man, like I can't believe like this is the life that I'm living right now, and everything's going. And so, but I'm like, I get in the car about to pull away, then I realize I'm like, I don't have my wallet. I'm like, okay, you know, leave the car running. Okay, that's a smart thing. And you might see where this is going. I left the car running, and I go back inside. You know, it's in the middle of Daytona. And so it's not downstairs. I look upstairs. I'm like, okay, I need to go upstairs to find the wallet, whatever. And I get upstairs to find my wallet. But then, out of nowhere, I start to hear this sound. And it's like the sound of tires screeching. I'm like, surely nobody's taking my car right now. Like, surely nobody would literally take my car. I look out the window, okay? Hear me. I look out the window, and there goes my car. My car was somebody jacked my car, okay? And so I have the wallet in my hands. I'm looking at my car, and it's so funny. There's a loop in the complex that I was in. So I saw him drive by my house, and then I saw him drive again. And I'm like, this dude stole my car. But then it hit me. I was like, all the YouTube equipment is in there. I was like, oh my gosh, $2,200 worth of equipment. I had just bought the equipment. I just spent 4 months building the dream for this YouTube channel. And then it was, boom, gone. Somebody jacked my car. So I remember how I was devastated. I remember I sat down in my car. I'm like, oh my gosh, everything that I dreamed about, it's gone in a moment's notice. And so now I'm trying to think, like, what do I do? I call the cops and et cetera. And I'm like, man, somebody stole my car. And then they're like, oh my gosh, man, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, I know. And then how did they steal the car? Well, I left it running. That's not the point, okay? It's not the point that I left the car running. It just is part of the story, okay? I left the car running, stole the car. And he's like, well, there's nothing really we can do. That night, the cop called me. And he said, hey, son, we found your car. I'm like, that's great. That's great. Was there anything in there? Like, was the equipment, stuff like? He's like, nothing. Like, all of it is gone. And I was like, what do you mean all of it is gone? Like, I just bought that stuff. I had a dream. And I remember taking it up with God and just asking him, like, why would this happen? If this was something that you wanted me to do, if this is a dream that you placed in my, I had a strong desire. I'm like, God, why? I remember calling my mom, bawling my eyes out, crying. She's like, Mom, like, it's gone. All of it. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, all the YouTube equipment. My car got stolen. They stole the equipment. I think they left like one little thing. I'm like, couldn't you leave like the computer or the camera? And I remember calling her, bawling my eyes out, and I remember her kind of talking back to me, and she was just like, it's okay. Like, it's okay, son. And I remember what it felt like to pay back the YouTube equipment piece by piece over time when I didn't even have the equipment and that dream was quote unquote stolen from me. So let's fast forward, okay? Let's fast forward 2 years, okay? This is 2 years after my car got jacked, all the YouTube equipment got jacked, and I'm just like, dude, are you kidding? So 2 years later, I'm in Carolina. Don't ask me how I got there. That's a story for another day, okay? I'm in Carolina, and I'm going to this church. I remember walking to the church. I was with a couple of my friends at the time. Great church. Never been there before, but walked in, and I'm kind of in the back. I'm with my friends. I'm kind of just worshiping, hanging out. And I remember, so there was this woman, and she said that she had saw me walk in to the building, the church. She had no idea who I was. So she saw me, whatever, and said, okay. At that time, I had hair, okay? So maybe she was like, wow, what a great head of hair. I'm just kidding. But so she saw me walk in, I'm in the back worshiping, whatever. So she said that during worship, she looked back and saw me. And she had felt like God was basically placing something on her heart to tell me. And so she was like, no, like, I'm not going to this random dude who has a nice head of hair. I'm not going to him to tell him whatever that God had spoken to her. So she goes back into worship, and then she had felt again that God was kind of placing it on her heart to be like, hey, go tell him this. And she's like, I'm not, here's the deal I'm going to make with you. This is her talking to God. If I see him, just him alone, I will tell him. I'll tell him what happened, et cetera, et cetera. So after worship, I go to the bathroom. Okay. So I go to the bathroom, I grab a cup of coffee, and I'm literally making this cup of coffee. And then I turn around and I see this woman. It was just me and the woman. And she goes, oh, she's like, hey, I got to talk to you. And I'm like, all right. Like, I just got to the bathroom. I have a cup of coffee. I'm like, what's going on? She said, hey, I don't know if this means anything to you, but like, did you have like a platform or something like that was stolen from you? And I was like, funny that you say that. Yes, I actually had all of my YouTube equipment, a dream that I had, it was completely gone basically overnight. And I remember this as clear as day, and I remember her speaking to me. And by the way, she was the pastor's wife of this church that I had gone to. And God had spoken to her heart about my situation. And so she looked me in the eyes. She said, the dream that was stolen away from you, God is going to restore it unto you 100-fold. And that there's going to be 100-fold restoration of what was stolen from me. You know, I love it too, because it reminds me of what it says in Joel chapter 2, that God will restore unto you the years that the locusts have eaten. And I'm like, 2 years ago, that was stolen from me. And I had all this hope. I remember having all this hope. And she continued to say, she said, do you know Tim Tebow? I'm like, TT? I know Timmy T. Yeah, I do. And she's like, you know Tim Tebow? I'm like, yeah. And she said, you're going to have something like a Tim Tebow effect. And I at that time, I'm like, it was also very crazy to me. And it was like this, it was difficult for me to comprehend in the moment. But I noticed that I went from this place of despair to just a little bit of hope. Right? I love how it says in the Bible that hope deferred makes the heart grow sick. And I remember when I originally got that dream, quote unquote, stolen from me, I remember that all my hope felt like it was gone. Like I didn't have the hope, but I felt like there was something that was coming back to me. All right, so you need to remember, I'm in North Carolina at this time. In my journal, I'm looking at it right now, it was May 20th that I had written down what the pastor's wife had said to me. So May 20th, 2018. Now, a few weeks later, now I'm looking at my journal, it's June 2nd. Okay, at this time, I'm in Carolina, I'm at a church called Elevation Church. A lot of you know it. And I remember I was in probably the end of my first internship with their church, and it was incredible. I was learning and leading and all these different things. I didn't personally grow up in church, so me being even in a church, working for a church, was a miracle for me. And so I remember being at that church and listening to a sermon that Pastor Stephen was preaching, and I wrote it down right here. The sermon's name was Frozen Oil in Chosen Vessels. So that doesn't mean anything to you, but I remember a few weeks before that, so right after the pastor's wife had given me that word, I wrote down a series name. And the name of that series was called Chosen. And so now just like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I was listening to the sermon, and when Pastor Stephen said the message title, and he said, frozen oil and chosen vessels. It's something inside of me, and I'm not saying that God came out of the sky and was like, oh my gosh, you need to do this series. Like, if you don't do it, I'm not gonna be able to. No, it wasn't like that. But I remember there was like almost like a still small voice within me, or even like a confirmation in my spirit. I'm like, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to create this channel. But in Habakkuk chapter 2, it talks about writing the vision down. So I wrote it down on June 2nd, 2018. I wrote down, I declare that on the above date, which is June 2nd, I made a decision to create a series called Chosen to encourage, challenge, build, and pour into people around the world. So that's what I wrote down. But in Habakkuk chapter 2, it says, write the vision down, but you have to wait for it. And if it tarry, wait for it. Why? Because there is an appointed time to the vision to come to pass. And what I'm excited to announce with you is that I think that that time is right now. All right, so what should you expect on this series and in this channel? So what I found in my own life is that most Christians have this issue of like trying to balance life, okay? I can speak for myself. I don't know if you can relate, but if you think about it, like the overwhelm of like, okay, I need to be a good Christian. I need to go to church. But I also, I have kids and I have a relationship and I have relationships that I need to balance. And I also need to go to the gym and kind of run and get in shape. But I also got to balance my finances and be good at work. And so it's like all of these different things all in one package. Can you relate? I know that you can, because I can. So what I am here to do is to help you create a ministry and life that you love. That is the purpose of this channel. I'm excited to take this journey with you. I love you guys so much. Please subscribe to this channel. Leave me a like, leave me a comment. You can comment on the ball head, or you can comment about the actual video. Okay, maybe about the story. But I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Hey, what's up, YouTube family? It's your boy Bald and Beautiful, aka Michael Tirpak, coming to you live for, well, the end of the video. Yeah, it's like an end card thing, okay? And so just coming to you, asking actually, there's something below, it's called it's red, subscribe button. And I love it, I love that. Here's what I love about it. It's a partnership, okay, between me and you, okay? You click it, I provide the content, okay? And next to it, here's the greatest part about the whole thing. Next to that button is a little bell. You click that joker, and then you get notification. You get notifications every time that I post. You know what I mean? Like, where else can you see, a bald guy with big beard? You know what I mean? I got a raccoon on my chin. Where else are you gonna see that? Okay? Like, hey, please do that. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. You can shoot a comment down there. I might favorite. I might give you a comment back. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning into today's episode, and I'll see you soon.